This clip right here shows the hidden advantage that Donald Trump has over Joe Biden. Watch carefully, and I'm going to explain what it is after the clip. Check it out.
And I mentioned him a little earlier, but you didn't know he was here. I just said, you know, he's a champion. He's a winner. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. He's a tough cookie. He's the kind of people that made our country great. Truly, they made our country great. He started off with 2 people fighting each other. Then he got 4 people fighting each other. Then he got them fighting each other. Then he got 6 and 8 and 12. All of a sudden, people started watching and looking, and I was proud to hold his first event. That's why he loves me. They said it's too dangerous. Nobody would take it. I'm the only one said, take it. We'll take it. And it was unbelievable. I went and I said, this is great. Let's do it again. And he has been my friend for a long time. And they put together a phenomenal deal. It's called UFC. He's the UFC president. And they just sold the company. He started it off for about $30, and they just sold it for $4 billion. And the people that bought it said, we're not buying it unless Dana White stays back and runs it. So Dana White, come on up. He's now a very wealthy guy. Come here.
What's up, Colorado? How are you today? So, I'm not a very political person, I'll start there, but let me say this. There's things that I can tell you about the President of the United States that you don't hear on TV and you don't hear from other people. Like you said, I've known this man for 20 years. We've actually become even closer since he's become the President of the United States. When somebody becomes the President of the United States, you don't ever expect to hear from them again, okay? And I understand it. It absolutely makes sense. This guy is so loyal and such a good friend. Every time I see him, I saw him today. When I met him on Air Force One, the first thing he said to me is, how is your family? How is your family? Good man, very loyal, and a very good friend. I see a lot of things from Mr. Trump that the public doesn't see. And the people who surround me every day see how this man treats me as a friend and other people he's friends with. He's a fighter. He loves this country. He's doing great things for this country. And we got to win this election again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Trump introduces his dear friend, Dana White, who is president of the UFC, and the hidden advantage that I think this reveals, this points to very obviously, is that Donald Trump is surrounded by killers. And what I mean by that is he's surrounded by people who exist and thrive in the real world, the brutal reality of business and finance, and actually being an entrepreneur, actually delivering results and building something from nothing. He has that mentality. He grew up and he was influenced by his father, who was a great entrepreneur. And he took over his business and he built and added on to and established his massive real estate empire. And we know that Trump's in a lot of businesses. He's in golf courses, he's in resorts, hotels, all kinds of real estate projects. And he's faced every single day with the cold, hard reality of capitalism and entrepreneurship and the real world, for lack of a better term. Now, Joe Biden is not that guy. He is not a killer. A killer. When I say killer, a killer in business, a killer like a trigger puller. He is the kind of guy who went to D.C. and got a nice, soft, cushy job in his soft, cushy chair in his office, and he makes laws for people. He makes rules for people. He wants to be the guy that points to somebody and says, you can't do that, or you need to do that for me. You need to give me your money for nothing. He's a bureaucratic elitist who isn't connected to the real world. He never built a business. I don't think he's ever done anything worth a damn in his life. I mean, look at his resume. Look at his track record. The guy has been in politics just not doing it. Like, you know, people who are career politicians, we know all about them. What kind of people they are. They're really the least fit people to be leaders. Now, somebody who actually has balanced a budget, who has actually made business profitable, and actually has even been through failures in business, right? The liberals and the leftists, they always like to point at Trump's business failures. But you know what? He learned from those failures, and at least he tried. At least he did something. He took a risk. We need that kind of thinking and that kind of action taking to turn this country's economy around, to turn the whole country around. We don't need somebody who gets a soft, cushy job behind a desk and is a career politician and just wants to tell people what to do and wants to go to cocktail parties in Washington, D.C. That's Joe Biden. The difference in mentality is night and day. And Dana White is an example of the people that Trump surrounds himself with. Dana White is a great entrepreneur who built the UFC from nothing, and he was a cutthroat businessman. He made it happen against all odds. And he built a massive sport. He did so much for the sport of MMA, which barely existed in any kind of reputable way, substantial way before him. And so not only did he build a company, did he build a business, he built a sport, which is now one of the biggest sports in the world, and athletes are making millions of dollars, and none of that existed. He made that happen. He was instrumental in making that happen. And that takes a certain kind of personality and a certain kind of life experience to go through and become that kind of person, to become a leader and to become a true builder. And Trump, you know, you've heard the expression that you are the 5 people who you hang around with the most, right? Trump hangs around with guys like Dana White. Who does Joe Biden hang around with? I don't know, if anybody. You know, he's probably in bed by 6:30, and he's got to take all his pills and whatever, and he's not hanging around with people like this who have built this country. He's not hanging around with the right people. He's not being influenced by the right people. He's being influenced by other Washington, D.C. bureaucrats, the leeches who just want to tax us more and don't have our best interests at heart. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. I think that this moment illustrates the difference in character and the difference in the 2 men who are going to be facing off in November. Let me know what you think. What do you think of the clip? Did you like the video? Please leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.